Hey all, welcome on Travels and Code channel. Today I will show you the final video of React and such functionalities which we are going to use. It's translation, i18n, which we can use which we can see in this demo. We can see with different languages, and theming of your application. You can switch black and white theme or dark and light theme, and everything will be saved in Context API. Previously I showed how to do it with style components. It's for theming, React-intl for internationalization, and what is Context API. All these videos you can find in description. So I would recommend you first of all check this video, get familiar with such functionalities, such models, and then in this video we will combine everything together, and we will implement a final application which you can use. This application will allow you to switch languages, the same 3 languages. So you can see this text here, and you can save. You can switch a different theme from white to dark. Also, what is important, we will add some customizable, user preferable functionality. So what does it mean? We can save the data what user choose, and when user will refresh the page, you will see that theme and language is the same you choose, and it means that when you reload page, all data will be saved. So how can we do it? We will create a simple React application, and then we will implement such functionality. So here I created this application. It's create React app, empty, without nothing, and it's create React app from scratch, from the box. And first of all, what I would recommend you, we will clean up it a bit. So let's go to app.js. No, so we have header. Let's remove everything, we do not need it. Also, we do not need this logo svg, delete. Also, service workers, we do not need service workers. Let's go to index file and remove service worker. So now we have just empty application, and let's start. I would recommend you to create a folder providers, and here we will save all providers we have. It's i18n for internationalization. Context will be saved here, and also themes. Okay, so let's start from context. As it's basic and everything will be saved in context, what do we need? So we will create a new file. It will be default context. Yes. So in this file we will export just object, and it will be a theme name. Let's leave it empty right now. Then site language, and the name of author or something else. We can use my name. It's okay. Also, we need to create index file with reduce function and context provider. So everything I will show here, it was already created in another video of context. You can check it, and here I will speed up. Just do not waste your time. Okay, so what do we have here? We have React, we use the use reducer and the create context. Also here we create our context from function create context. It returns this context. And what do we have? We have the same app context provider, which receives props and returns children. Here even we can simplify it a bit. And here we don't need props anymore because we don't use it. elsewhere, and consumer, and we'll return everything. What was changed is reducer function, which can handle different states and actions. So we can set language, we will return the same state with new site language, and we can set theme name. We have the same state and theme name, it's action theme name. So it's done, it's everything what we need in our case here. The next step what we need to wrap our application with this context. So let's go to index.js file, and here we will import context provider. Let's format it just a bit to see how it looks. So we see that everything is wrapped with context provider, our application works. Okay. The next step, we will create languages, 3 languages which we are going to support. So we will create, languages, is locals. So we will create 3 locales, it's English, German and French. We'll put it here, it's just an object. The next one what we need to create translations. So it will be messages files. I have already prepared 3 files with the translations. I cover these files in the separate video, so you can check it, this video about internationalization. So what do we have here? It's English. Right now I have just one English name, it's hello. So I import the locales English from our file, and then for English we have just one message is hello and name. Name is a variable we will pass. For French we have the same bonjour name, and for Germany we have hello name. Also in index.js we combine all these languages, translations, and just return them. The next what we need to create a provider, translation provider. So in our case it's React-intl, so don't forget to install this library. Let's go here and add library. And what do we have here? We have the same messages, we have the same locals, and we have provider. So it receives children, and the default provider will be English, it's in default language, and then we pass local, this is local English, text component fragment, because when we will have a text should be wrapped in some component or in some element or HTML markup, and in our case we will use fragment, but also you can use something like span. Fragment is okay, and messages, we will pass the list of messages we have. So we installed React-intl, and the next one we need to combine all these files in one index file. It will be much easier to use it. So we have this index file which imports provider from provider and the locals, and then it's exported them. In the previous video I showed you how we can simplify our work and create special function for translating. So here we will use the same function, it will simplify our work. It's what we have the same formatted message and function translate we created. The first parameter is ID, it's message text, it's a key, in our case it's hello, and the second parameter is a value, what we can pass. And here for English we can see that we have in our case one value, it's a name, and we will use this name as a value here, and that's it, it returns this function. So let's check how it works. So let's go to our app.js, and here we have application. Let's wrap the whole application with this provider. themeProviders i18n. The next one, what we need wrap the whole application, and we need set local, and by default we will use English right now, then we can change it. And also let's import translate function. So here we can use it. So let's check. So here we see that after compiling we have hello name, and let's try French, for example, just to check how it works. So bonjour. Right now we integrated internationalization and it works as we expected. Okay, what can we do it right now to simplify our work and show the first result? We will create buttons to switch this language. So as we used previously, let's create a new component and put these buttons to this component. So we have our source file. Let's create new directory. It will be components. And the first component we will create with styled. Let's create blank switcher. And here will be index file. Okay, so first of all we need to import our locals and the React application, of course. The next we need export component, and this component will return just the small div, which inside we will go through the all locals and output them. So let's go to, so it's an object, so we need the object keys. Then let's go map. We have local and we just return button, and inside we will have locals, or just even local, it will be fine. Right, I just will open and show everything. Let's add it to our application. We will import it and let's add it here. Okay, we have 3 languages, but right now when we click on that we do not switch anything. But what we need to use our context API. So let's go to here again, and let's open our context and check what do we have here. We have default value, and for default value let's use English as a site language. So let's again import this local and use as it is as default here English. And as we already have function set length, we can use this action to dispatch this action. So let's go to length switcher and import this functionality. Let's go to, so we need to use context hook, And also we need to import this context. So let's import app context. Providers. The next, what do we need to, in our component we will use this context. So let's save to const dispatch function, and then when we click on button, on click, we will call set language function. So let's create this function. It receives language name, your site name, site language, and what it does, even we can save space, and will dispatch event, dispatch action. It will be set language action, and type, what do we need to dispatch function, and what we are going to pass action is type set lang, but it's a string, and the parameter is a site name, site lang. So site lang, it's site lang. Okay, and here we will call it what we need the value of this local, so it will be local. And in this case, when we click on the button, we will pass from our i18n locals, we will pass this key of language, in our case value, but anyway. And so in this case we will set dispatch, we will set language, and we can use it in our application right now. So in our application, again, we will change it. So in our application we need the same context, so let's import app context from providers context, and we need the same hook, use context, and in our application now we can use state from context and dispatch. Okay, state is will be enough. Use context, it's app context. And now we can pass local, not hard-coded value, but from state site lang. We don't need this anymore. Okay, let's try. Okay, we have some small error. Let's try. Let's go to lang switcher. So what we forgot added key here. The first one, then yes, what we did forget is that we should wrap it should be a function, and now it should works fine. Okay, so we have these three buttons, and let's click, and we see that we switch language. So we put switcher to separate component, and when we click on them, we can switch it easily. Okay, so we finished with internationalization. It worked as we expected. The next step, we will add theming. So let's go to our provider themes. Let's create the same themes we used before. I will copy this functionality and then explain it fastly. So here I added this functionality. Let's go to theme list. Here we have a list of themes we are going to use. It's the same Dark Apple and Basic. Basic in basic we will say all styles what we need, and then we can extend for Darkola and for Apple it's dark and light themes, different styles we can customize it. The next we have function get theme. It's the same implementation. For themes we have a list of our themes, it's objects with the styles, and get theme will receive a theme name and return this object. Let's go to themes and check. For basic we have just styles, it's background color, color and the link color. Right now we have no link, so we can remove it. The same for Darkola, we have no links. And basic is just background color. Apple extends this basic without changes, and in index will return all these three themes. Okay, so in our application we need to wrap the whole application with themeProvider, and themeProvider is part of React style components. So let's install style components, add style components, and in our application we import themeProvider for style components, and let's wrap again application with themeProvider. And we need path theme name or just the theme. And to pass it we need import get theme function. And we will pass get theme, and by default right now let's hardcode some value. Let's use for example themes Apple, it will be white, and we can check how this was changed. So we have themeProvider, and right now it works fine, but we need we need to create a first style components using this application. So we have header component with the class name, and let's change it and switch it to style components. So let's create new file styles.js, and here what we need import React, style components, and just export const header. It will be styled div, and let's copy just styles from app CSS. We can copy, paste here, and just change this background color. Let's use props. We have props theme, and in our theme we have, let's open themes, basic, it's a background. And for color we have the same, same color. Okay, it works fine, and now we need just change this one because it's exporting another way, and let's use this header in our app.js file. So let's go to app.js and again import from styles, and now we can switch this header to our style components, remove this class, we don't need this class name anymore, and now we have this component it will be styled component, and it will receive our functionality with the switching theme. Now we can see that theme is white. Okay, so let's create the same functionality for switching themes. We will create another component. We even can just copy this one and what we need just small changes. We will need up context anyway. Let's copy from themes list. We have the same list, and let's open. Yes, it's the same list, and let's go to the themes. It's the theme name. Here we show theme, the same, and the function will be set theme. It will receive theme name, and we need dispatch type set theme, because in our reducer function, let's go to, yes, it set theme and it receives theme name. Okay, so set theme works. Here we will switch, it will be key theme, and on click we will call set theme function, and it receives themes theme. It's a key. Yep. Maybe just this one. Yes. And also dispatch, it works. Let's add this component to our app.js. So we have long switcher. Let's import theme switcher. Let's add it here. And so it works. Yes, we have this even basic, but it's not what we expected. But anyway, and we need right now to themeProvider. We need the same get theme from not hard-coded value, but from the state. So let's get state theme name. We don't need here anymore, and let's go to our context, and for default context also theme name. Let's import theme list, and here let's use as default themes Apple, for example. And here now, when we will switch, click a button, it will change style. It's what we expected. And the last part, what I was wanting to mention, it's how we can save language. So right now we have French, for example, dark mode, but when we refresh page, we have again everything white. So how can we do it? To do it, we will use sessions local storage and save data to local storage when customer or client clicks a button. And for such functionality, let's create some small utils folder. So this, I call this file, it's saved to storage, session storage. Yes, but we need to rename it to local storage. Okay, it's local storage, and here we have two functions, it's save to storage and get from storage. Save to storage, we check do we have this storage, and then we just set item, and what is important, we stringify this data. So we have object, we convert them to string, this object to string, and then save it. The same for get from storage. We receive name, we check do we have this storage, and then in try catch we try parse. We try JSON parse this data from local storage and get item. So how can we use it? Let's go to our context, provider's context, default context, and here we will get this data from storage. So we can import get from storage use local storage, and let's get this data from storage. And what we need, name, it will be theme name, and here is default value. So right now we get from storage theme name, and if we haven't, we use default value as Apple, and the same for language. Get from local storage, site lang, it's a name of this variable we're going to save, and if we haven't, we use English. It's okay. And now what we need just add, we need save to storage the value. When user clicks on button, let's go to lang switcher for example, and when user clicks set language, we have site language, we need to save it. So let's import save to storage, and save to storage site lang and value site lang. It's okay. Let's try it. Reload our page, and we have, for example, we have French. We saved. Let's reload. So after reloading, we have the same French language. Okay, and the same for theme. Let's go to, let's copy this one, and in theme we will have the same save to storage, save to storage. It's a theme name and theme name. That's it. Now we can reload our page and check. Let's say dark color French. Let's reload, and everything works as we expected. So this is the final implementation. So we could add different styles, for example, and I guess that's it. Thank you for watching, and now it was implementation how you can use context API themes with the themeProvider from local storage, from style components and internationalization. So thank you for watching.